Hey, I'm Tony, and I'm on a mission to make mobile home living normal. Mobile homes today are modern, spacious, and truly affordable. Every home we put out gets dozens of calls, and there are millions of families out there looking for a better way to live. Right now, families are getting crushed under lifetime debt just trying to own a home. It doesn't have to be that way. If you watch this video, you'll learn how we started by investing $500 into a mobile home, and since that time, we've been able to scale to over 30 mobile homes a year. At the beginning, we were trying to get into the wholesaling business on the single family side. And I had a friend who had several rentals, mobile homes. And he called me one day and told me that there was a manager who had a mobile home for sale for $500. I initially declined, but then it piqued my interest. So I went and I took a look at the home, and the home was really rough. I could see why it was $500. There was a lot of trash, both inside and outside. The one thing that my friend warned me about before I went to the property so that I would be properly equipped to face the challenges I was about to see was there was a lot of fleas. I mean, a lot of fleas inside the home, outside the home even. So I went in a Tyvek suit. And so I went in, and it's just a painter's suit, just completely white with little boots, zipped it up, put it on, and walked in, and it looked like I was wearing black boots when I walked inside the home because it was covered in fleas. It was terrible. It smelled really bad. There were syringes scattered in different places. There was all sorts of I would say about ankle high to knee high trash on the outside, completely covering. It was a big yard too, so there was a lot of metal. I think we ended up selling the metal for like $1,000. It was that much metal, and it was a mess. The inside was a mess. There was a metal gate that was separating the kitchen and the living room. I don't know why there was a metal gate on the inside, but there was from the ceiling to the floor. The metal gate, they had dog leashes, so you could tell it smelled like dog inside. It smelled really bad. It looked really bad. It needed a lot of work. So I decided to take on the deal. Told my buddy, hey, yeah, we'll do it. Got in contact with the park manager. We took the home over and began the cleanup process. I learned a lot of lessons there, paid a lot of stupid tax. I thought I could clean the home myself and save money. Because I had a guy who came out and gave me a bid to clean the entire thing, and it was pretty, in my mind, it was very expensive. I think it was $2,000 for inside and outside. And I told him, hey, no, man, that's too much. And so I did it myself, and it took me probably 3 weeks. And I ended up spending more than that, I think, about $2,500 to clean it with the dumpsters. And I had to get help because it was just taking me too long, because it was a massive amount of trash. So I learned very quickly that it's better to hire somebody to do the job than to do it yourself, because it speeds the process. He probably would have cleaned it in 2 days, and it took us 2 weeks, which was terrible. Because one of the things about mobile homes is when you keep them in the lot anyway, in a mobile home park, is lot rent that you have to pay monthly. So we had to pay lot rent almost immediately after we were done cleaning. Yeah, there was no structural damage to the home, so the majority of the work was cosmetic. So at the end of the deal, after all the rehab, and we put a central AC in, and I probably shouldn't have done that because we spent about $5,000 on it. We were in about $16,000. Had the home for sale for $29,000, which I probably should have sold it for more. But the location wasn't great. We sold it for $29,000 with $16,000 down, and the rest of it was financed over the course of 5 years. So we broke even at the end of the deal, and then we were receiving about a $500 payment. Yeah, after about 4 years, we were able to make about $15,000 on the deal. That $500 deal taught me more than any real estate seminar ever could. It taught me the value of time versus money. It taught me the value of putting your head down and doing the work, and it taught me the value of taking action. So that's the reason that we put all of this together, so that you don't make the same mistakes going into a home that you're going to rehab. So after that deal, the next deal that we got into was pretty interesting. I was driving on the highway, and my wife and I were talking about the deal that we had just done, and we drove by a mobile home park, and she said, hey, why don't you stop there and talk to the manager and see if they have anything for sale? So I did. Stopped at the park, got off, talked to the manager, and she says, hey, I actually have a double wide for sale. Why don't you go take a look at it? Took a look at it. They were asking for $15,000 on the home. I actually negotiated down to about $12,500. I learned to be a better negotiator, but still, we got it for $12,500. So the cool story is I didn't have the money. And this is what I learned from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I didn't have the money, but I went to go find the money. I went to go talk to a friend who had money. He lent us the money. We bought the home, we rehabbed it, and then we sold it for $36,000. And so we spent maybe $1,500 on rehab, and we immediately sold it. And after the whole deal on this deal, we made about $23,000, which was really interesting. At that point in time, I used to make about $50,000 working for USAA at what a good friend of mine would call the golden handcuffs. And so they had everything you want. You would never want to leave this job. It was so cushy and great and all that. But on this one deal that my wife actually was the catalyst for, we stopped off and we ended up making $23,000. And I thought, wow, I just made half of what I make at USAA in a matter of 2-3 weeks. And that's when the engine really got running. And that's when things really got interesting. And we continued to do that. And we've been doing it ever since. If you're looking to build a business, make real money, and actually help people along the way, then this is it. This isn't a dream I'm selling. I'm showing you a system that works. Low investment, high demand, and real impact. The market needs this. The time is now. Let's build something that matters. We've got more videos coming on how to partner with park owners, managers, how to clear dirty titles, and avoid big mistakes that we see other investors and flippers make. Hit subscribe so you don't miss those.